Hey friends, how's it going? Side note, if you hear cars passing by, it's because I live on the busiest street I've ever heard in my entire life. Whenever I was applying for this apartment complex, I didn't take into account that I could be living on the busy side of the apartment. Naturally, with my luck, I was placed where there's cars passing by every 2 seconds. It's really unfortunate and really annoying, but we're just gonna go with it and it's fine. Today, we're going to be starting my work story series. Now, I've held a plethora of job positions, mainly in retail and restaurants as a server. Today, we're going to be talking about one of my server jobs. Now, I've worked at 2 restaurants ever in my life. This story time is going to be pertaining to the job that I had before the one that I have now. I don't want to say the name of this restaurant because it wasn't a great company to work for. Today though, we're going to be talking about my horrible manager that, for the sake of this video, we're going to call Jose. Jose was a piece of trash human being. I don't hate many people because hate is such a strong word, but I hated this person. I absolutely hated going to work while he was working. Because of my school schedule, I could only work like Tuesday, Thursday nights and then like weekends, and Tuesday and Thursday were the nights that this particular manager closed. So for a time frame of about like 2 months, every Tuesday, Thursday, I had to work with this manager and it was hell. I hated him. There were so many instances where this manager really just got on my nerves, or he made me angry, or we just had issues. However, for this video I'm only going to be telling 2 main stories that happened that really irked me. Okay, so let's get into the stories. This nice family came in, a mom, a dad, and their child. And the way that this restaurant is set up, I'm gonna do my best to explain this, but it was kind of like a 50s diner. Just so that you can picture it, because I don't want to give too much away, because I really don't want anyone to know what restaurant I'm talking about, but basically it's like a Steak and Shake, but a little more expensive, and it's one of those where people do like a little performing dance thing. So I worked at one of those places. Anyway, so the way that this restaurant was set up was there was this, counter with the little dining bar stools, and the cook line was right behind that counter, so you could see the cook making your food. That comes into the story later, but I just want you to know that that exists. Anyway, so I was in the section that was on this side of the restaurant. So say the bar is like right here, I was on this section right here. So the booth that this family was sitting in was like kind of in the corner, backed up against the wall, but they could still see and hear everything that was happening. So I go up, I greet them, I'm like, hi, how you doing? Like, how servers do. I take their order, and this lady orders a fried chicken salad. The way that this restaurant works is that all the servers, you have to drop your own chicken tenders. So if anyone orders a salad with chicken tenders in it, you have to drop your own tenders, which I did. It was super slow, so Jose was the one who was making the food because like the cooks were doing something else. I dropped my chicken tenders, and whenever he goes to make the salad, he pulled tenders that were kind of old and weren't particularly warm anymore. So he puts those in the salad and he gives me my food and I take it to the table. I let them eat for a little bit, I go back to the table, the lady calls me over and she's like, hey, the chicken tenders in this salad are cold and it's just not very good. I don't really want to wait for something else to be made for me, like can you just take it off? And me being the server I am, with the customer always being right, I was like, okay, yeah, sure, let me just take this off for you, no problem. So I go to the computer to take off the salad. Now, at any restaurant, if you are to take something off or comp something or void something or whatever you have to do, you need a manager card or their number or something so that they can authorize it. So Jose was the manager this evening, and he's the most difficult person to work with. I go up to him and I'm like, hey Jose, this lady didn't like her chicken finger salad because the chicken tenders were cold. Can I have your card so I can take it off of her check? And he goes, well, what was wrong with the salad? And I was like, her chicken tenders were cold. She didn't like it. And then he was like, well, you should have dropped your own chicken tenders. And I was like, I did. You just obviously didn't use the chicken tenders that I dropped for this particular salad. And he goes, well, I don't have my card right now. With each sentence that we're saying, I'm getting more and more frustrated. And so eventually he's like, you can't have my card. And I was like, well then how do you expect me to take it off? And he's like, well, I can make her something else. And I was like, she doesn't want something else, she just wants the salad taken off of her check. And he goes, well, I don't have my card right now. And I was like, okay, do you know your number so that I can type it in? And he was like, no, I don't know my number. And again, I'm like, well, then how do you expect me to take off this salad? And at this point, like, I'm so frustrated, and I'm to the point of tears, because when I get super frustrated, I just like want to cry, because I'm so frustrated and I don't know what else to do. Right, so I'm getting super flustered, and the table at this point is listening, and they're hearing everything, and they're like seeing me get really frustrated. And I'm just like, Jose, I don't know what you want me to do, but she does not want to pay for the salad, so I have to take it off of her check, and you need to give me your card or your number or something to take off this item. And he literally kept arguing with me and wouldn't give me his card or his number. And I was just like, what do you want me to do, Jose? Eventually he sees that I'm super worked up, and he gives me his card. So I take the check, I bring it back to the table, and they give me their payment method. I deal with that, I bring it back. And the lady looks at me and she said, I am so sorry that you have to deal with a manager like that, because he should not be allowed to talk to you like that. And I'm like, he's not, but no one else is here, so we can kind of get away with it. And she was just like, I am so sorry, like, I hope your day gets better, like, you should not have to deal with that. And then the dad hands me a $20 bill, the $20 bill, and I was like, thank you so much, like, y'all have a great rest of your day, I'm so sorry you had to witness that. Super unprofessional, I'm so sorry. So, thanks, Jose. You helped me get a $20 tip. And after they left, Jose comes up to me and he's like, you know, if something like that happens, you can't act like that, because we don't want our customers to see that. And I was just like, well, then you should have given me your card, because that was the only issue. And granted, I should have kept my shit together, but like at the same time, I literally didn't know what else to do. Like, I couldn't just tell the lady, my manager won't let me delete it, sorry. Like, moving on to the next story. My restaurant was located inside a really massive mall, and right down the hall from us, if you keep walking like straight, there's a movie theater. So a lot of people would like go ahead and buy their movie tickets, come to us, get a bite to eat, and then they would go watch their movie. This couple comes in with a movie theater ticket, and they were like, hey, our movie's in 30 minutes. We know y'all typically bring food out quickly. Do you think we could get our food in like 10 minutes? And I was like, it's super slow right now, so I don't see why that would be an issue. So yeah, sure. So they sit in my section, I go ahead and get them their drinks, and I, you know, quickly take their order, and I put it into the computer immediately after I take their order, because I had no other tables and I had no reason not to. They're sitting there for 5 minutes, and the ticket is still sitting on the cook line. And like I said before, you can see the cook making your food. They could clearly see that there was no one making their food. And I was just kind of like, okay, where are the cooks, one, and where is my manager? If the cooks aren't there, then the manager's supposed to do it. And so I go to the back of the house, to the office, to see if he's there, which he's not. I couldn't find any of the cooks or Jose anywhere. It's not in my job description to cook the food. Like, I literally do everything else. The least you could do is make my burgers. Like, come on. Literally couldn't find anyone. 8 to 10 minutes go by, and the food still hasn't even started being cooked. So I go up to the table and I'm like, I'm so sorry this is taking so long, like it shouldn't take that much longer. And they were just like, we really need our food, or we need to go. Like, we can't wait that much longer, our movie's gonna start soon. I was like, I completely understand, like just give me one more minute and I'll see if we can get it out to you as fast as we can. So finally, Jose comes out of the back and he starts making their food. 10 minutes after I put their order in, mind you. I go up to him and I'm like, listen, these people need their food out ASAP, like if you could just hurry that up and send it out, that'd be great. And he was just like, I just got the order. And I was like, well, it's been sitting there for 10 minutes. I don't know where you've been, I don't know where the cooks are, but no one's made their food and they need to go catch a movie. And he was just like, well, give me like 5 minutes, like I'll have it out. And I was like, okay, fine. I go up to the table, I'm like, you know, there's someone working on your food right now, it'll be out in just a minute. And they were just like, we really need to go, like can we just take the food off and just pay for our drinks? Yeah, no problem. So I go up to Jose and I'm like, listen, they don't want their food anymore, they really need to go catch their movie, can I just see your manager card so that I can take it off? And he was like, no, their food's gonna be out in just a minute, like give me one more minute. And I was like, well, they don't want it anymore, they need to go. And he was like, well, have them take it to go. And I was just like, well, they're gonna go to the movie theater, so they can't really take it into the movie. You know how movie theaters work, right? Finally, the couple walks up to the counter where we are kind of arguing, and they were just like, listen, man, we really need to go, like can we just get our check and leave? And he started arguing with them, and he was like, it'll be out in just a minute, like don't worry about it, it'll be out soon. The customer is always right, it doesn't matter what they want. In the restaurant business, the manager especially is supposed to do everything in their power to make sure that the customer is happy. So if they want their food taken off so they can go, he's supposed to take the food off so they can go. But he's just sitting there arguing with them. We're just like, man, we just want to pay for our drinks, like we really need to go, because at this point the movie's gonna start in like 5 minutes. After arguing for a minute, Jose finally looks at them and says, y'all don't owe me anything, like go enjoy your movie, whatever, have a nice day. They leave. Then he looks at me and says, you're paying for their meal. I looked at him and said, I think not, no. If someone walks out, it's not the server's responsibility to pay for it. It's the general manager's job to just take it off of the ticket and go on with the rest of their day. And Jose is continuing to look at me and blaming me for them having to leave. He was like, you didn't put the order in right away. And I was like, I literally put it in as soon as I took it. I have no other tables. There's no reason for me to not put the order in right away. And I'm just sitting here arguing with him, and I was like, I literally haven't even made 20 bucks as of now because it's so slow. Their meal was 30. Like, there's no way I'm paying for that. That's me coming into work and having to pay to work today. Like, I don't think so. I will call the general manager and explain the situation to him. Like, I am not paying for their meal. And he was like, fine, I'll call the general manager. And I was like, ha, okay, you do that. Like, the back, he calls the general manager. He comes back to me and he was like, yeah, you're right. You don't have to pay for their meal. And I was like, that's what I thought. If that wasn't enough, that same night, I got accused of stealing $50 from the register. I was technically working the counter, so I had the key to get into the register because if anyone needed change, they would come to me so that I could pull out the drawer and give them change. So I was in charge of the register that night. Towards the end of the night, they were going to count the drawer and it came up $50 short, and he accused me of stealing $50 out of that drawer, and I got so mad. I haven't even opened the drawer at all tonight, so I don't understand how I would have taken the $50 as it is, but since I was in charge of the drawer, that's my responsibility. I understand that, but the fact is, I was literally the most trustworthy person that worked there. I would never steal money from a cash register, from any of the other workers. Like, I would never steal money from somebody. I'm a decent human being. But the fact that he was accusing me of having to pay this $50 back pissed me off because, one, I hadn't even made $50 in tips that night. So I would have had to pay for the $50, and then, like, if I had to pay for the meal of the other people, I would have had to pay like $30 on top of that. That's 80 bucks. And I hadn't even made 30. So it's like, okay, I'm basically paying you to go to work tonight, it's fine. I was so heated, and me and him are like in this argument. And like, granted, I know that it's unprofessional to argue with your manager like that, but he was so incompetent. Eventually, towards the end of the night, they were counting one of the drawers in the back and they found the missing $50. So it comes up to me and he apologizes and he was like, I'm sorry I accused you of stealing $50. And I was like, yeah, you better be. He was just a piece of trash human being. He did not know how to manage a restaurant. He was not fun to work with because he fought with everyone. Most of the other employees didn't really like him either. After like 2 or 3 months of him working there and being like a manager, he got fired. I don't really know why he got fired, but the day I found out he got fired, I was so happy. And after he got fired, I loved working there. There was this other manager named Cody that I loved. We had a grand old time. It was great. Jose was the problem. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story time of my horrible manager that accused me of stealing $50 and almost made me pay a family's meal after he told them to leave. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this face and you want to see more of it, be sure to hit the subscribe button down there and do all the video stuff, like, comment, subscribe, like I just told you. Do it, okay? All my social media links will be in the description, so you can go follow me on those. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!